The reign of Bashar al-Assad, once seemingly unbreakable, has crumbled after 24 years. His family's grip on power, spanning over 5 decades, met its end as rebel forces stormed Damascus. Led by Hayat Tahrir al-Sham, the rebels seized control, forcing Assad, his wife Asma, and their 3 children to flee. Russia, a steadfast ally throughout the Syrian conflict, has emerged as their sanctuary. The Kremlin offered asylum on humanitarian grounds, a move met with mixed reactions from the international community. The Assad family's escape marks a dramatic turn in the Syrian conflict. It also underscores the shifting geopolitical landscape. Russia, deeply involved in its own conflict in Ukraine, found its ability to prop up Assad waning. The speed at which Assad's regime fell surprised many. It highlighted the volatility of a region grappling with long-standing conflicts and external pressures. The Assad family's swift departure leaves many questions unanswered. The fate of Syria hangs in the balance as a new government takes shape. The international community grapples with the implications of Assad's downfall and the potential for further instability. One thing is certain: the Middle East stands at a crossroads, and the aftershocks of Assad's fall will be felt for years to come. Russia's decision to grant asylum to the Assad family is a calculated move, laden with strategic implications. Moscow has been a staunch supporter of the Assad regime since the outbreak of the Syrian civil war in 2011. Russian military intervention, particularly its air power, proved instrumental in turning the tide in Assad's favor on numerous occasions. This unwavering support, however, came at a heavy cost, both in terms of international condemnation and economic strain. The recent rebel offensive in Syria, culminating in the fall of Damascus, coincided with Russia's ongoing war in Ukraine. This strained Moscow's resources and limited its ability to intervene effectively in Syria. Granting asylum to Assad, while controversial, serves several strategic purposes for the Kremlin. It allows Russia to maintain a degree of influence in Syria, even without Assad in power. It also provides leverage in negotiations with the new Syrian government and various armed groups. Beyond the immediate Syrian context, Russia's actions send a clear message to the world. Moscow will stand by its allies, even in the face of international pressure. This message resonates particularly strongly with regimes facing internal unrest or external threats. By offering Assad refuge, Putin reinforces his image as a strongman willing to challenge the West. This reinforces Russia's position as a major player in the Middle East. The al-Assad family arrives in Moscow not as destitute exiles, but as a family with deep ties to Russia. Their wealth, amassed over decades of ruling Syria, has been the subject of much scrutiny. Reports suggest the family possesses a vast fortune hidden in offshore accounts and real estate holdings across the globe. Their Moscow connections run deep, with family members owning luxury apartments in the city. Assad's eldest son, Hafez, is currently a doctoral student in Moscow, further solidifying the family's links to Russia. Asma al-Assad, the British-born wife of Bashar al-Assad, faces a particularly uncertain future. Her dual nationality presents both opportunities and challenges. While she could potentially seek refuge in the United Kingdom, her husband's status as an international pariah complicates matters. The United States has imposed sanctions on Asma, accusing her of complicity in the Syrian regime's atrocities. The prospect of a comfortable exile for the al-Assad family, despite their wealth and connections, remains uncertain. The long arm of international justice, though slow, may yet reach them. The shadow of alleged war crimes and crimes against humanity hangs over Bashar al-Assad. Whether he will ever face trial for his actions remains to be seen. One thing is certain: the al-Assad family's life in exile will be a far cry from the lavish existence they once enjoyed in Damascus. While the al-Assad family finds refuge in Moscow, the clamor for justice for the victims of the Syrian conflict grows louder. Human rights organizations and international legal bodies are calling for accountability for the atrocities committed during the war. The use of chemical weapons, the indiscriminate bombing of civilian areas, and the systematic torture of detainees are just some of the crimes attributed to the Assad regime. The International Criminal Court, despite its mandate to investigate war crimes and crimes against humanity, faces significant hurdles in bringing Syrian perpetrators to justice. Russia, as a permanent member of the UN Security Council, has consistently blocked attempts to refer the Syrian situation to the ICC. This effectively shields Assad and his inner circle from prosecution by the court. Despite the obstacles, the pursuit of justice for Syria continues. Several countries have launched their own investigations into Syrian war crimes, relying on universal jurisdiction principles. These efforts, while largely symbolic at this stage, send a powerful message. Impunity will not be tolerated. The road to justice for Syria will be long and arduous, but the international community must remain steadfast in its pursuit of accountability. The victims of this horrific conflict deserve nothing less.